Your attention, please. You're about to watch the official trailer for EuroTripz Season 3. Be warned, this is not for small children.
You guys can't do this! Please! Let's just get it over with.
Good evening, race fans. Umpire here, Black Flag Racing TV, and that's right, it is Season 3 of EuroTripz F1. Give me a hell yeah! Alright, done then. And what a place to start. Round 1, British Grand Prix, at the home of motorsport. Not just British motorsport, all motorsport in the entire world. Silverstone racetrack. Cannot wait for this. It's going to be awesome. We've got some new faces this evening. Lots of new people for me to character assassinate and essentially just make feel utterly rubbish. We've got some old faces, of course, and we'll see how they get on. But you've got to love the start of a new season, have you not? And before we get cracking, I just want to say a very big congratulations to my son Dylan and Yotan and JSM from his from Roehampton Monster Shop University Rocket League team. Lost out in the final of the NSC Championship this afternoon. to a team, ironically, they beat in the UK final just a couple of weeks ago. But, you know, shit happens. Congratulations to them, but a great performance for them. Only in their first year, up against teams that have been going for 2 or 3 years, and already making big, big finals. Last thing to say about it, well done to him. Big it up. Proud dad moment. Anyway, back to this evening, and it is all about... I don't care about France. Fuck France. You look across the world, Forza, and you will see that the people at the very, very top of motorsport, some of the greatest names in the history of motorsport in terms of designing cars behind the scenes, they're British. Simple as. Which is why, France makes snails and they smell like onions. And they make silly songs that sound a little bit like this. That's a very French, stupid thing. Right, anyway. We digress. We digress. British Grand Prix. That is the layout of the track this evening. Reprofiled recently, quite recently. Essentially, you've got the international pitch straight, which is not the Hamilton straight. You can fuck off. I'm never calling it that. As long as I shall live. Into turn 1, which is Abbey, through Farm Curve, flat out, then braking zone through the village, into the loop, and then into Aintree, turns 4 and 5. Blast down the Wellington Straight in your first DRS zone, which takes you into Luffield, followed by Woodcote, Brookfield's Luffield, then followed by Woodcote, of course. Then you head down long straight, blast down to turn 9, Cops. Then you've got the really fast section, which takes you down to Maggots and Beckett's, and then into Chapel, which is a little kink left-hander, into your next DRS zone, down the Hanger Straight, into turn 15, which is Stowe. Stowe takes you round to the right, you have a little blast down, then you can either dive off into the pits or head into Val Curves for the little left and the little right, and then into Club before you complete your lap around Silverstone. Fastest lap is with that big bell end, 1 minute 29.2. It is 5.8 kilometres. A normal race distance, about 52 laps, 306 kilometres. But there we go. That's all you need to know. Longest flat section of track is 296 metres of circuit, 204 miles an hour. If you do, I'm going to send it to your house, actually on fire. So I'm going to post it back to sender, and then when it arrives, I'm going to pay somebody to set it on fire on your doorstep. Or I might send it to him and ask him to sign it. But actually send it to him with a little note, can you sign this for me, please? But already with Max Verstappen's signature on it. Oh, that would be so fucking cool. Yes, send me a photo, because you can roll it out really, really tightly then, so you can poke it up your ass. Anyway, moving on. Moving swiftly on. Over to Crofty, yeah?
Welcome to Silverstone, home of the British Grand Prix. This iconic track held the very first World Championship race back in 1950, and it's a firm favourite amongst fans and drivers alike. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out.
That was relatively simple, wasn't it? That's all you need to know about Silverstone. Well, there's actually loads you could know about Silverstone. Shall we talk about it a little bit while we wait for everybody to get here? Because we've only got, 11 in at the minute. Where is everybody, man? It's the opening race of the season. We should have 13. We should have 20 people here, all vying to start racing. What can we tell you about the iconic Silverstone? It was first used, well, it used to be RAF Silverstone, and it was first used after the war, just about 1946-47, when it was used as a racecourse for the first time by a group of friends. And they, back 10 or 11 or 12 something like that, raced over a 2-mile circuit, where one of them ran over a sheep that had wandered onto the track. That sheep clearly died. It got hit by a fucking car. What would you expect? And they then started naming that race the Mutton Grand Prix. Very clever play on words, of course. Then, not long after that, the RAC took over and it became more formal. And then, obviously, in the 1950s, it started to become a proper Grand Prix track. In terms of the British Grand Prix, it's been held at places such as Aintree, but it has been at Silverstone and a stalwart at Silverstone from the 70s onwards. Nowhere else has the British Grand Prix been run. It is an awesome, awesome racetrack. While we're waiting, shall we talk you through each individual corner? We can do that, can't we? So, Abbey, turn 1, flat out, around 280k. It's named after the Luffield Abbey, which stood near to the corner for about 800 years, up until the early 1940s. Farm is a kink. It's turn 2, and it's not really a corner, to be fair. I don't know why they call it a corner, because you're flat out. If you've got your foot to the floor, it's not a fucking corner. It's changed a little bit in 2009, just to slow that section down. Turn 3, the village, is named after the village of Silverstone. It's a village, which is about a 40-minute walk from where the track is. Now, there's about 2,000 people live in the village of Silverstone, and about half of them, apparently, in mid-2020, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that half of the people in Silverstone work at Aston Martin in the early 2020s. I don't know how true that is. It's a really, really cool thing if it's actually true. Turn 4, the loop, left-hand hairpin, which is named the loop because it is loopy. Loops back around, and then cars power out of there down the Wellington Straight towards Aintree. Aintree is named as such because the British Grand Prix was once run at Aintree in Liverpool, the famous, of course, horse racing circuit. Then you've got turn 6, Brooklands, and it's named after the legendary Brooklands racing circuit. What else can we say? Luffield is shortly after that, again named after Luffield Abbey. Then you've got Woodcotes, and it's named after Woodcote Park in Surrey, which Darryl Fingers and I know very well, not far from where we live. Copse is named as such because there was lots of trees there. Then you've got turn 11, 10, 11 and 12, which is sort of maggots. Essentially it's turns 10, 11, 12, and then Beckett's turn 13. Chapel's turn 14 because there was a chapel there, Beckett's Chapel. Stowe is named after the school that was locally based, that's turn 15. And turn 16, Vale, because it was built on an airfield, it's pretty flat, but most of the elevation changes are around there because that's the valley bit of it. And then you've got 17 and 18 at the club, and yeah, that's it. That's your circuit. And just in time to head into qualifying. How about that? How about that? Look at the time. Look at that timing. It's almost like a professional planned it. We know a professional didn't plan it because it was me. And I hope you like the new overlay 4, the new season 3. Designed, to be fair, I use similar to that for everything else anyway, but it was designed today. I did pretty much fuck all else. Right, just 11 runners this evening, which is incredibly fucking disappointing. One, because it's Friday night, and I know that you fuckers have got nothing better to do. And 2, because we've got loads of new people, and we're not going to see many of them race. First race of the season, you'd think at least 17, 18, 19 would churn out. Very disappointed to see just 11 runners this evening. But format is quite simple. It is 18 minutes of qualifying, and that will be followed by... I've got no sound in my ear for some reason. Why have I got no sound? It's because that's turned off. There we go. And that's followed by a 25% race. We then have a little short breaks. Ideal is 10 minutes. We don't need 10 minutes. Doesn't take 10 minutes to piss and have a fag, does it? And then we do a nice 50% race after that, of course. A few cars going out. Shall we have a little shifty woofty? Need me lap down. No, don't need me lap down. I need me track map. So who's out? Forza. He's got to be a hot favourite for this year, along with Harley. They were pretty darn quick last season. Don't know what the new guys are like, of course, so we can't pass judgment on that. But we'll do an on-board with Forza just because he's Scottish and it's the British Grand Prix. No other reason than that. And I'm sure he'll be immensely proud to be representing the British Grand Prix as a Scottishman. Or Scotsman. What do you prefer, Scotsman? Scottishman. Scottishman doesn't even make sense, does it? Let's be brutally honest now. So we go into Sector 3. Here will go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. So there we go, heading down now towards Vale and then, of course, Club. So into Vale he goes now, round Club, and this will start the lap. And let's go on board, shall we? So blast down the international pit straight towards turn 1, which is Abbey. Little lift if you need it, which you don't on those soft compound tyres. It's flat out all the way through a first braking zone into Farm, your right-hander. That takes you down to this left-hander sweeping back on itself into Chapel. Then you head down Village and then through Brooklands, or through the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands, should I say. All the way down, keep it nice and right-hand side, into Brooklands and then through Luffield, which is this right-hander here. Keeping it in second gear before you get on that power again and head down all the way to Cops, which is your next braking zone coming up here when you're braking around that 50 metre board, just to get it turned in, not dropping too much down in speed. This is the sort of S section of the course of Maggots followed by Beckett's, and it's a succession of left, right, left, right, left, right. You just got to feather your throttle through there to make sure you don't go too wide, don't get scribbly on the grass, before you head down the hanger straight for the second DRS zone, which takes you down to Stowe, your next braking zone. Again, 50 metre board, it's where you let off and just drop down the gears through the through Vale now. There you go, through Vale and then back into Club for the start finish line, and that will be your first hot lap around Silverstone. Just like that. Boom shanker. How'd you like them apples? And that for Forza wasn't a super quick lap, but that was because it was his out lap. Well, actually, where was his out lap? So why did he not set time? Anyway. Right, Harley sets the first time of the day, and that's a 1:30.5 for him. And that's, of course, Forza's teammate. So, who is racing in what cars this season? I hear you cry. Oh, none of your fucking business. No, I'll tell you right now. I've got a flashing light for some reason. I know it's all right. Right, so we've got Harley, obviously, as you can see, in the Aston Martin. His teammate is Forza Ferrari. There is Scuba putting himself on pole with a 1:30.4. He is racing for Red Bull this season, alongside my old friend Darryl. Fingers 27. And that's how many fingers he's got on each hand, of course. Bab, new to the setup here in the Haas. That's short for kebab, and the 14M is because he holds a world record for eating a 14-metre long kebab while drunk outside a pub in Scunthorpe. Bab 14M, 128.9. That absolutely blows Scuba out of the water. His teammate there, of course, is Dunners. Also in the Haas, 1:30.8 for Dunners. Loves trophies, apparently, this dude. Ryan, there he is in the Alpine, looking just like Fernando Alonso last season, of course. Running in 5th currently, but he hasn't set time. Toys in the Ferrari. His teammate is not here, so Toys running all alone in the Ferrari today. Another newbie, a Brad's Dunks. He's called Brad's Dunks because his name is Brad, and every single bit of food he eats is dunked into a cup of coffee before he eats it. He essentially lives on a diet of Garibaldi biscuits and the occasional rich tea when he's feeling a little bit naughty. Sir Jake in the Alfa Romeo. Sorry, it tickled me, I don't know why. Sir Jake in the Alfa Romeo, and teammate Baguette. There's Baguette. Baguette, technically not new. She's been around towards the end of last season, but we'll pretend she is. So Fingers with a good lap for Fingers, putting himself on the front row. Baguette on the second row. And then, of course, the last but not least is Forza Ferrario, who we know and love from last season. That's all we got today. So the newbies, we're looking at Brad and we're looking at Bab. They are both, old Sir Jake, of course, as well. Called Sir Jake because he is actually a lord. He is the lord of a very small piece of land. It's basically a rock that someone threw into the sea just off the coast of Essex, and he basically lives on that, and he's a sir. Some of this may or may not actually be true. Orange Dax is not racing. Why is Orange Dax not racing? Orange Dax is new. Orange Dax is in the YouTube, but not on the racetrack. Why is that, sir? Can you explain to me what possibly you have that is better to do than race around Formula One cars and allow this baldy, beardy idiot to shout obscenities about you? And anything short of a grandmother's funeral or an unfortunate accident with a dildo and a slip will do. So Bab currently on pole, 28.9. Fingers joins him on that front row with a 29.0. 29.74 Baguette. Brad up to the second row, that's a 130.1. Ryan in behind, 130.2. Scuba joins him on the third row with a 30.4. Then we've got Harley and Dunners on row 4, 30.5 and a 30.7 respectively. Toys with a 30.8 in the only lonely running Ferrari this evening. And still wait for Sir Jake and Forza to give us a lap time. Now, I'm assuming it could be wet. No one's indicated as to whether or not it will be today. But it is the British Grand Prix, and it wouldn't be a British Grand Prix unless it pissed out even a little bit over the course of a race weekend. This obviously isn't a race weekend. I haven't got time for that shit. But it may well do. We'll soon find out. So Sir Jake is out on track, is going quickly. We'll find out whether it's super quick when they go through the next sector. So here they go now through Maggots and Beckett's and all that palaver. And there they go, feathering that throttle through there. We will get a representative time coming up right now when they cross that line. There's no indications to whether they're up, down or otherwise. So Paige Bassett. Who is Paige Bassett and what would you take? Because I don't remember offering anything relatively accepting worthy. So Forza, Sir Jake both still need to set a time. Who and why have you not done it yet? Well, there we go. Sir Jake has, that's a 130.9. That leaves him exactly where he is in 10th position. Just waiting for... but yeah, okay, well, that makes sense, actually. Bearing in mind that your name's Paige, and as far as I'm aware, you're the only girl. Right. We do have a lap from everybody now, so we can do a full run through. So on pole is Bab 14, who is just ahead of Fingers. They are both on the front row. If Fingers stays on the front row, I'll probably actually die of shock. So this broadcast will be over relatively quickly. The two Aston Martin drivers of Harley and Forza. That's a good lap from Forza to get himself up onto the second row alongside Harley. And bearing in mind that those two are probably going to be the guys we need to be watching for this season. Nothing against Fingers. One lap doth not make a championship winner. Bab, of course, looking pretty quick already. Baguette. Interesting choice of name, bearing in mind that your name's Paige Bassett and it has no... I'm sure there's a reason behind it. So Baguette and Brad are on row 3. Ryan and Scuba on row 4. Dunners and Toys on row 5. And Sir Jake Arise, Sir Jake, is all on his own on row 6. Anyone else that's supposed to be here and is racing, get your fucking arse in there and crack on with it, will you? We need more than 11 runners. It's incredibly disappointing. Relatively talking of racing, to be fair, for a relatively quiet week or weekend on Black Flag Racing TV, because it's Chocolate Egg Weekend. We have no World Cup action on the GT side of things, so no GTC World Cup and no WSR Porsche Cup. Certainly not this weekend anyway, because of Chocolate Egg Weekend. We do have the return of Staying Power in the LMP1 class tomorrow. Racing around Fuji. That is 2 hours. You want a 23 Aston Martin. Don't we all, my friend? Don't we all want a 2023 Aston Martin? I want one, and I want it to be driven by Fernando Strollonso, who is super quick at the minute. And you see what I did there with his name. Yeah, look at that. Fingers puts himself on pole. Someone's been practicing. Essentially, what's happened is Darren hasn't told anybody, but him and his missus are split up, and he's basically just rented a room, and he's quit his job, and he's basically been spending 15 hours a day practicing for this race. No, he hasn't really, and I'm sure he has to split up his missus. But anyway, fingers on pole, and that's a 128.6. That relegates Kebab down to second. Scuba in third with Harley. Forza and Baguette still on row 3. Brad and Ryan still on row 4. We are fully doing realistic. We're not. For some reason, I thought we'd scrap that idea. I suppose it would explain why you're in the slower Aston Martin, I suppose. Okay, makes much more sense now. Doesn't explain why Bab in the Haas is splitting the 2 Red Bulls though. Okay, coolio. I probably should, to be fair, I probably should have remembered that. I knew there was talk about it. I just had I don't know why, but I just assumed it was going back to non-realistic, down to equal performance. But okay, well basically then, so Fingers is going to be quick because his car is quick, so he doesn't need to practice. He just needs to keep his foot on the loud pedal essentially and not crash. But then this is Fingers, so a crash is incredibly likely. That's not actually true. To be fair, and I will be fair to my old friend Daryl, for what he lacked in pace last season, he made up for in not crashing. So he would generally make quite a few places, and most of his points were purely because he let people around him crash and he stayed on the racetrack. So sacrificed a bit of pace for a little bit of consistency. So 3 minutes left. So if you want to get another lap in, now's the time to get back out on that track and give it a crack. Fingers leads from Bab. It's a 28.6 for Fingers, a 28.9 for Bab. They're both in the pits currently. If they want to get another lap on the board, they should probably go out pretty soon. Scuba and Harley on row 2. They're going to have another crack, 29.1 and a 29.4 for them. Forza and Toys with a 29.5 and a 29.7. They're on row 3. They're both out having another go. Baguette and Brad, 29.7, 30.1. They're on row 4. Row 5 is Orion with a 30.2, and half a second slower is Dunners with a 30.7 in the Haas. Oh, goody God. I got up really early this morning because my son left for 5 o'clock this morning to go to Birmingham for this tournament thingy. Sir Jake, 1 minute 30.9 in the other Alfa Romeo. So about 1.2 seconds off the pace of his teammate today, who is in the shape of Baguette. And the reason I've just been reliably informed by Ted Kravitz in the pits, that the reason that Paige is called Baguette is because she's shaped exactly. This is what she looks like. That's an actual picture. It says there, actual picture. That's really what Baguette looks like. That's one of her baby pictures. Her mum sent it to me yesterday. So seriously, it's lucky that I don't have my dress up on the YouTube channel, because I'm sure at some stage I'm going to insult somebody and they're just going to like, fucking lose it. Just come to my house and go postal. To be fair, Fingers knows where I live. Or does he? No, he does. I think he does know where I live. I'm sure you're pleased to hear my voice is pretty much back. Still got the tail end of the cough that came with it, but yeah, I'm no longer squeaky and I can speak properly. So, anyone got anything interesting planned for Chocolate Egg Weekend? Other than sitting around and eating lots of food and chasing chocolate around the garden. This is basically what happens on Chocolate Egg Weekend, is if you've got children, you hide loads of chocolate. So you'll hide, let's say for argument's sake, 30 pieces of chocolate, and they will find 26 pieces of chocolate. And you'll forget that you hid 30 pieces of chocolate, and you'll forget where you hid half of them. And then what'll happen is you'll open the oven after cooking on the Sunday afternoon or evening, and you'll find a congealed mass of melted chocolate in there, or you'll have a sleep on the couch and wake up with some chocolate stuck to your face, or you'll open a drawer and there'll be some chocolate melted all over your favourite watch, or something along those lines. That's generally what happens on Chocolate Egg Weekend. So, everybody has set their lap. If you're on a hot lap now, it's your last opportunity. As we're watching Fingers currently on pole. Fingers, do you know what? That should have been the TG challenge, is to have to say Fingers is on pole without sounding surprised. So there we go. Fingers is on pole, joined on that front row by Kebab, Scuba and Baguette on row 2, Harley and Forza side by side on row 3. Very similar pace from those two. Just goes to show how close they are. They're in the same car, but very close in terms of driving performance too. Harley just winning out by less than a tenth of a second. Ryan and Toys. Ryan likes toys. One's shaped, ironically, like a baguette. In on row 4, Brad Dunks, like a tea bag. To be fair, I made a biscuit analogy. I could have gone down the tea bagging analogy. I wish I had now. Brad Dunks and Sir Jake on row 5, and Dunners brings up the rear in the way that only Dunners knows how, and he will start from the back of the grid in the Haas. So there we have it, folks. That is your entire lineup. TG Trophy returns, of course, for a new season. Weekly challenges. Essentially, you get a load of challenges each week, and if you hit those challenges, you get a point, and the person with the most points at the end of the season gets some shit. And challenges this week for Scuba to finish in the top 8 in all 3 sessions. Fingers to beat your team in at least 2 sessions. Well, that's working so far. Brad Dunks to top 10 quali and a sprint race. Baguette to get fastest lap at any point of the night. Me to reach 10 live viewers and 50 comments. That's going to be a bit of a stretch. Bear in mind there's only 11 people in the room, so even if you've only got one friend, you have to convince all of those people to watch. Mark to finish all 3 sessions, and Connor to finish top 5 in all 3 sessions. They are the challenges, but that is your grid. Fingers from Bab, from Scuba, from Baguette, Harley, Forza, Ryan, Toys, Brad Dunks, Sir Jake, and Donners in the Haas. There we go. Did you like my little song? Right, what else can we say then? Let's get cracking with the first race. I was saving that actually for whoever was on pole, but it's done anyway. Right, so just waiting for everyone to load in. But for some reason it's taking longer than usual. Maybe because we've got less people. Who the hell knows? Who knows? Because I certainly don't. Look, if you want to watch something really, really funny, last Sunday, I did a academy race for the WSR Porsche Cup, right? And I had to do it for a replay because, long story, but I had to cover for somebody else in a higher group. Watch the sprint race. It's fucking carnage. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Genuinely, if on Gran Turismo 7 your car could wreck, right? There would watch it seriously. There were 8 laps, and I can tell you now there was only 2.5 actual racing laps. The rest was under full course yellows because of the amount of crashes. And genuinely, if you could have full damage where the car would be destroyed, nobody would finish that race. It is fucking funny, and I basically spend 15 minutes calling 11 drivers massive bell ends. It's fucking brilliant. Check it out if you've got nothing better to do after watching this. So, formation lap ensues. After that formation lap, we will have 13 racing laps. And we've got so few people this evening, we can actually dedicate an entire lap to each driver, and they have 2 laps for other purposes, whatever those purposes may be. But here is how they line up. Fingers in the Red Bull will lead everybody out. Bab in the Haas. Bearing in mind, Dunners is no slouch. That pace for Bab in that Haas is very, very quick. There will be on the front row Scuba in the other Red Bull. Is just ahead of a Baguette in the Alfa Romeo. She is ahead of Harley and Forza, both on row 3, both in Aston Martins, but last season's Aston Martins, not the ones driven by Lance Stroll and Fernando Strollonzo. Ryan and Toys, Ryan in the Alpine, Toys in the Ferrari, are on row 4. Brad Dunks in the Mercedes-Benz, which is a piece of shit. Certainly this season's one is a piece of shit. And Sir Jake in the other Alfa Romeo. They're on row 5, and row 6 is just for Dunners, and Dunners alone in the final Haas. So here we go. Just a couple of corners remain before they'll line up on the grid, and then we'll get cracking. And that's one way to get some heat in the tyres, is to run them over some hot grass. So just trying to put some heat into those tyres, and they're going to have to sit on the grid and cool down while we wait for everybody to line up behind. The only saving grace, of course, is that it won't be 20 drivers, it will be just 11. Or, well, 10, certainly 10 drivers behind fingers. So I'm going to go on board with, who should we go on board with? Let's start the season with Ryan, shall we? Why not? He puts the majority of the work in. Let's, well, he's not on. Why the fuck is he showing it on pole? There we go. That's better, huh? Bugs already. Loving it, loving it. Here we go. That's 5 lights. They go out, and season 3 can begin. Jump start penalty, 4 fingers. That's going to cost him some time. Straight from the outset. Great start. Great start from Ryan. Up into 6th already. That's a brilliant, brilliant start off the line. Fingers picking up a penalty. Baguette making a massive jump up into 2nd. Also picking up a penalty. Yellow flag already in sector 1. Harley bumping himself up to 3rd position. Bab losing 2, down to now 5th place as Forza Ferrario. Up briefly into 4th. But has to drop it again. Does he make the move this time? He makes the move this time. Does it stick? He's going to have to go round the outside, long way round. These two racing side by side, so close. And we've got the Haas on the medium compound tyres. Forza Ferrari going for those soft compounds. He will not want to be stuck behind that Haas for any length of time while he's got the best hot to trot tyres on, and came at a rapid rate then nearly into the back. And the Alpine of Ryan just comes diving through and takes both positions and up into 4th very briefly. It is on like Donkey Kong for these guys. Ryan dropping back to 6th, but for a moment Ryan making a great move up into 4th place. Now Scuba moving that Red Bull back up through the order. did lose out from the start. Harley making some big moves early doors, but Fingers all the way into the pits goes Fingers. What a great start for him, repairing some damage early doors. So Harley goes through, takes the lead of this race. It is lap 2 of 13 here at Silverstone. This is season 3, round number 1 of EuroTripz Formula 1 on a Friday night here on Black Flag Racing TV. And Harley leads the way from Bab, or Kebab, Forza Ferrari in third. Ignore the times there because they're absolutely bare. No relevance to what's going on the track right now. Tyre detail. Shall we have some tyre? Let's have tyre detail. So, Bab and Dunners and Sir Jake and Toys all opting for the medium compound tyres. Dunners already up to 6th from 11th on the grid. Everybody else starting on those soft compound tyres. Fingers with a penalty to serve. Down in 8th place. From pole, that's a big drop down the order. So realistic or not, he's got some work to do now, boy. In terms of position changes. So Harley with a great start, up 4 places into the lead of this race, leading by what looks to be about 2.5 seconds. Back to Bab, we'll find out. When they cross the line to start lap 3, I think we should have a proper timing. We'll stick with Harley for the time being. Harley will go across the line. That's lap 3 begun. So there's the gap, 1.5 seconds. Not bad, guess. Only a second out. Bab in second, Forza Ferrari 8/10 back in third. So those 2 Aston Martins already into their flow. Bab started second, is still second. Forza up 3 places. Scuba loses a place, down to 4th in what is now the lead Red Bull. 1.1 seconds back with a 1.2 second gap back to Ryan. Penalty for Sir Jake, who's into the pits right now. There is Ryan running in the Alpine in 5th, 2 places gained for him. Dunners already a bit of a shoe-in for driver of the day with 5 places gained thus far, up into 6th in the Haas. The other Haas, of course, is Bab, running on the medium tyres, up in 2nd. Brad the Biscuit Dunker, 3.6 seconds back, 2 places gained in 7th position in that Mercedes-Benz. Fingers started on pole, 7 places lost, 13 seconds back. Would desperately like to see a safety car now. Will do anything for a safety car. Pretty much the same way he would do anything for a 4-finger Kit Kat. So rumour has it. Don't hold me to that. Forza losing a place to Scuba, moving up the order. What's happened to Forza? As far as Forza's into the pits, that would explain why. It helps if I looked at a little thing next to it that says pit. So making his stop early doors. Sir Jake is the first casualty of the season, is out of this race, and it is a for Sir Jake. I had to do it on the top of toys because I can't go on the top of Sir Jake. So there is your current race leader. It is Harley, and Harley trying to open up the gap as him and Bab disappear off the up the road. And currently doing all right. Harley 7/10 up from Bab, of course, running on those medium tyres. So still got some racy softs to come. Following this, we'll have a 26-lap extravaganza of racing. Let's say we can have a 10-minute break in between, but I don't think we need 10 minutes, do we? The smokers can run downstairs, have a fag, and be back up in 4 minutes. Even if you need to have a little poo, it's not going to take 10 minutes, surely. Unless, of course, you want to play a bit of Candy Crush while you're doing it. I speak like I've spent endless hours having this shit and playing Candy Crush. I haven't. I don't play Candy Crush. I play other stuff. I try and complete Pornhub. So Bab makes the move into the lead as Harley dives into the pits and picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Well, you fucking knew what you had to do, and it was not to go that freaking quick into the pit lane. Scuba up into second in the other Red Bull. Dunner's now up into third, so 2 Haas in the top 3, and they're both running on medium tyres. So gone for that, let's be a bit slower to start off strategy, and later we'll have some softs, and then you're in trouble. Brad Dunks into 4th place now. That's 8 places game for Dunners, by the way. Harley into the pits. Harley will come out now on the medium tyres and of course run to the end of this race. Forza Ferrario, his teammate already on those medium tyres, will of course also run to the end of this race. Ryan, 3.4 seconds back in the Alpine, is also on the medium compound tyres running to the end. Fingers into and coming back out of the pits. Was on pole, didn't have the greatest of starts, picked up a penalty for jump starting. It's not the first time he's been premature, so I've been told. Comes out in what's essentially last because Sir Jake is a dumph, the first dumph of the season. 5 laps in, and let's commentator curse this shit. No safety car yet. Bab leads the way, still needs to pit of course for the other option tyre, as does Scuba and Dunners and Brad and Baguette. I think needs to pit as well, am I right? I could check, couldn't I? Yeah, Baguette also does need to pit. But there in goes Scuba in the Red Bull. That'll be the last of the soft tyre runners, in Brad and Scuba, both going in to change out those tyres. Oh, Baguette's still on the softs actually. So Baguette 16 seconds back. Not going to go too well when Baguette does come in and change out the tyres. Going to lose a few places and then not really have the super quick tyres underneath her to try and gain some places back. So up into third currently, but does need to pit, as does Bab and Dunners, who currently lead this race. There is your race leader, Bab 14M, who is 7.2 seconds clear of Dunners. I need to get a little sound bite for that, don't I? 20 seconds back is Baguette. Those 3 still need to go into the pits. Penalties. 8 seconds for Harley. Essentially, Harley likes to speed in the pit lane and ignore the track limits. It's like the rules don't apply. Harley's just like, I don't fuck the rules. I don't care. I'll do what I want. Well, you can't, my friend, because society requires we have rules that you follow, and you get punished when you don't follow them. So those 8 seconds are going to cost you a few places, my friend, unless you can get your fucking ass in gear and get moving. Forza Ferrario will move up, as long as he doesn't pick up a ton of penalties. Currently 3.4 behind Harley, but that shouldn't be too mean a feat to stick within that distance and pick up a place when Harley serves those 8 seconds worth of penalties. And currently putting all kinds of pressure on Baguette until because Baguette into the pits. Should have paid attention to that as well. So it's still just the Haas need to come in. Where does Baguette come out? That's the big question, because still running. Here comes Ryan. Ryan's going to come through. Next will be Brad Dunks. Bradunks comes through into 7th. Toys probably won't, because Toys is 23.5 hours back, or seconds, depending on what unit you're using to count. Fingers though, right on the back of on the back of Toys. Baguette coming out plumb last, super last, the very last. 2.2 seconds back on cold medium tyres, and we're on lap 7 of 13. It's a bit of a task, an uphill task, very uphill task. Right, so there's your race leader. Still needs to pit for some soft compound tyres, as does Dunners, running in second, now has a 3-second penalty. You've been warned, my friend, multiple warnings, it says it there. Naughty. But at the moment, with Harley being 19 seconds back, and with an 8-second chunk of penalties, not looking good for you, my friend, to get anywhere near Dunners. So Dunners looking great for coming back out in second, and not losing the place due to penalties. When does Bab and Dunners come in? Do they leave it properly lastminute.com? Or is it worthwhile jumping in now in case that gap starts to close? Yeah, there's always the option that you're going to hang out just in case there's a safety car, but there hasn't been one yet. And you've got cars like Red Bulls and Ferraris not too far behind you. But we'll see. So you've got Haas leads Aston Martin, leads Red Bull in the shape of Scuba. Ahead of Alpine, then Mercedes-Benz, then another Red Bull racing car, followed by Alfa Romeo and a Ferrari, and there's an Alfa Romeo currently up on blocks, having its wheels stolen by some little Scouse chavs. That might not be true. So Bab into the pits. Dunners follows him in. Yes, he does. So, how close is Harley? Harley just coming down the long straight in sector 3. Has got a few corners left before he anywhere near taking the lead of this race. Is hammered down now though, coming around. He's got the last few corners to go. Where does Babs come out? In the lead, I would assume, ahead of Dunners, I would assume, and that is absolutely the case. Here comes Babs. So Harley comes down now, takes that position from Dunners, but how long can he hold on? Well, he's actually taken the lead of this race, got ahead of Bab. So very, very quick from Harley, but it all counts for nothing when those 8 seconds get added to his time and he busts all the way back down behind. And I think if my math is correct, he's going to be back in 5th behind Ryan. So as it stands on the racetrack, that's your race leader, Harley. But with that 8-second penalty, going to drop down the order a little bit. Scuba also going to drop down, of course. So maybe back into 4th, outside the top 3. Bab 1.7 seconds back. Forza Ferrari, or 2 seconds back in 3rd. Neither Bab nor Forza have a penalty to serve. Scuba with 5 seconds, currently ahead of Ryan by 2 seconds. So will be jumped by Ryan, and not in that kind of fun, naked way, but the losing a place kind of way. Ryan 2.1 seconds back, ahead of Brad Dunks by 5.8. He's got a 3-second penalty, which is negated by the fact that Dunners has come out in 7th, 1.5 seconds back, but also has a 3-second penalty. That's enough to keep them ahead, of course, of Fingers, 11.7 seconds back. Remember, he was on pole and it just hasn't gone so well in the Red Bull thus far, but maybe he's vying for a feature race start nearer the front of the grid, because of course we take these cars and we reverse that shit for race number 2. There is Baguette. She's running in 9th. She's 4.9 seconds behind Fingers, and ahead of Toys, the Australian driver, who's going to chuck another couple of shrimps on the barbie and come in 10th place. So Jake, of course, is coming nowhere except into a sock, because he's quiet in the paddock and no one can watch him masturbate. Anyway, there we go. Hardy leads the way. Bab closing that gap. Doesn't need to make the overtake on the track, but will want to anyway, just for bragging rights, and is closing fast on the back of that Aston Martin. Picks up a penalty of their own. Now, this plays into Forza Ferrari, because the Scotsman can close to within 3 seconds and nab himself the top step of the podium now. He's got Scuba behind, but the Scuba's not any danger. 5 seconds. So, at the moment, so Babs made the move on the racetrack. That's the important thing. Made the move on the racetrack ahead of Harley. But Forza's going to need to close that gap and close it fast. Not let Bab pull away. Bab is going to want to get as big a distance as possible. Currently, I mean, if it stops as it is, right now, Bab will win this race. That's the fastest lap, of course, 1:31.0. So, intention's very clear. Bab knows, stay 3 seconds ahead of Forza Ferrari, and no motherfuckers are going to catch me, because they're going to go And people behind, they ain't got the time for that because currently Bab has got the time, the fastest time. There is Harley behind, a bit of DRS, but not going to improve his lot with that 8-second penalty. And these two teammates, Harley and Forza, very similar. Excuse me, turn the pace with the same part of the racetrack for the majority of this race. So getting good, solid pace out of that car in a similar fashion. Scuba running in 4th in the lead. Red Bull, been a very, very relaxed race for Scuba. Not really anything to worry about too much. In terms of position change, biggest winner still Dunners with a 5-place gain, up from the very, very back of the grid to number 6 position. 8 seconds to Ryan, but a couple of laps to go. It's going to take a mistake up ahead. And, of course, Brad Dunks not to do this and make the move. Looking round the outside. Dunners is not going to let that happen, surely. Bearing in mind that Brad Dunks as well is on medium compound tyres. But Dunners can't do anything to stop the pace of the Biscuit Man. The Biscuit Man Dunks is now up into 6th, ahead of Dunners. Dunners driving just for funners, and Dunks looking for biscuits. So Dunners down into 7th place, head of fingers. That promotes Dunks up to 6th. No one else really challenging anyone. Can Harley put any kind of moves on Bab? Bab's not pulling away super quickly. Forza's going to need the next 2 laps to find a couple of seconds. And Forza can take the win here. As it stands, Bab will, despite that 3-second penalty, take the top step of the podium, and Forza will just have to stand the other side of, will probably be Scuba, running in 4th, who will be promoted up into the top. But Forza can, there should be some points, Ryan, for anybody that finishes the race, if they are the only person that finishes without a penalty. I don't know who you are, Craggy. I don't know. I'm assuming you belong here. So hello, Craggy. Bye-bye, Craggy. Or is that Craigie's? It could be Craggy or it could be Craigie. Either or. So it's Bab from Harley from Forza. As it stands, we're on lap 13 of 13. Next up will be 26. 26, of course. But Bab leads the way. 3-second penalty on board, of course. We'll just make sure that nothing's changed in that respect. So, although they will drop past Harley will serve 8 seconds and drop down behind Forza, behind Scuba, behind Ryan. Although, with the penalties they've got to serve as well, it looks like Harley might just sneak in just outside that top 4. So I think Scuba will be safe-ish. Actually, no, I don't think Scuba will. So it'll be 4th for Harley. Look at me, I'm doing math and shit. I don't know why I call it math, because that's a proper Americanism, and I'm not American. Fuck yeah! Right, so Bab leads from Harley. There's no point looking down the field. There's no real pressure from anyone on anyone. Here comes Bab. Just a couple of corners left to go, and Bab will take the checkered flagish. And that's a good increase. It might only be 1 place, but it's the difference between the 2nd step and the top step of the podium. Da, 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 da. And here we go. This is the first winner of the first race of the first round of Season 3 of EuroTripz F1. And there is your winner, Bab Boomshanker. Forza comes home in 2nd, Harley in 3rd. Actually manages to sneak into that top 3. Ryan in 4th, Scuba in 5th, Dunners home in 6th, Brad Dunks home in 7th. Fingers will come home in 8th position ahead of Baguette, who comes home in 9th. Should come home in 9th without too much of a problem. Home in 9th for Baguette. Toys coming around the final corner now will come home in 10th place. But there is your winner of race number 1. And everybody's happy that they burnt lots of petrol, apart from...
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams.
yeah, you have. You've won the race, but you've stolen her dreams, my friend, with your empty words. Congratulations, though. That's but good points in the constructors' race for the Aston Martin team, who take second and third, but at the expense of Haas winning the race, of course. So good start to the proceedings. There we have it, round number one, race number one, and we are done. Then what? I hear you cry. Can we go home now? No, you freaking can't, my friends. You cannot go anywhere. First, we're going to do the classified. Where the hell is that flag from, Bab? You have to tell me where the flag is from, or I'm going to pretend I'm going to make up a new country and say that that's your new country. So, Bab from the sovereign state of in the Haas. Head of Forza Ferrari from Scotland in the Aston Martin. Harley from Great Britain in the other Aston. And then we've got Ryan in the Alpine. Scuba in the Red Bull. Dunners in the Haas. Brad Dunks in the Mercedes-Benz. Fingers in the Red Bull. Fingers in the Red Bull. Yeah, because it's pretty. Baguette in the Alfa Romeo. Toys in the Ferrari. And bringing up the rear is Sir Jakey in the Alfa Romeo. But they didn't finish. They get no points. Suck it, baby. Forza Ferrari is my driver today because he didn't pick up a penalty. It's Pakistan. To be fair, I knew it was Pakistan. I was just joshing. Thanks for that, Bilal. Good racing, buddy, by the way. Good racing. And welcome to EuroTripz. And I hope you're not too sensitive, because the more you win, the bigger the abuse gets. The longer the season goes on and the higher up the order you are, the more likely I am to rip you a new one, especially if you fuck something up. So there we go. That's race number one is done. They're all going to go for a wee...
Your attention, please. You're about to watch the official trailer for EuroTripz Season 3.
Turn it down a little bit.
For small children.
Yeah, so basically, they're all going to go for a wee-wee, and they're going to have a drink, and then they will be back in a few minutes. And we're going to do it all again. But this time we're going to do 26 laps, and they're going to drive faster and harder than ever before. Than anyone has ever driven. Ever. Yeah, I'll be back shortly.
Your attention, please. You're about to watch the official trailer for EuroTripz Season 3. Be warned, this is not for small children. attention, please. You're about to watch the official trailer for EuroTripz Season 3. Be warned, this is not for small children.
You guys can't do this! Please! Let's just get it over with.
I have returned, and I did something really fucking stupid. So, on a Friday generally, not every Friday, but most Fridays, I have a very, 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 very hot peri-peri. There's a great peri-peri place near me, right? And what I do is I get peri-peri chicken strips and I get rice and all that kind of thing. And I buy a portion of wings to have later when they're cold. So I just went and ate some of those. When I tell you it's hot, right, so basically from the first wing onwards, the burn just gets more and more and more. It tastes awesome, but the burn gets bad. What I didn't do when I finished eating those wings was wash my hands properly, because I immediately scratched my bollocks, and now my mouth is on fire, as are my bollocks. So I did have to go and wash my hands, which was a little bit late coming back, to make sure I got all of the spice off of my hands. And I'm sure that's information that you wanted me to share. I'm glad I shared it with you, and you can take that away with you and do with that information what you will. But what you have learned is that I am a fucking idiot. Anyway, waiting for everyone to return, and then we will do 26 laps of realistic performance racing. A great debut from Bilal Ahmed, aka Bab, also known as Kebab, who has reliably informed me that he's from Pakistan. And the irony is that I looked at the flag and I thought, I should know where that's from, but I didn't. As soon as he told me, it was immediately obvious that it was the Pakistani flag. Don't you love online gaming? Where else in the world? How are we doing in the comments? Shall I count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 20, not even close, mate. And to be fair, I haven't had 10 consecutive so far. Let me have a quick look at the analytics, shall we? Let's have a quick look at the analytics. See, I could cheat, right? I could jump on the Black Flag Team Discord, and I could, not order's the wrong word. I could request that all of our drivers come and put a comment in and all of that kind of thing. But I'm not going to cheat. I want the people that are watching to be here because they would like to, not because they have to. That said, if you are currently watching, get all your friends to come and subscribe. Actually, get your friends to subscribe, and I'll tell you why. Because we are currently sitting at exactly 399 subscribers. All right, so here's a challenge, right? Here is the challenge. I will make a WWE style F1 entry video for any driver that convinces 5 people, any current driver driving this evening that convinces 5 people, and they've got to put a comment in the video as to who told them to subscribe. So if you get 5 people to subscribe before the end of the race, and then they obviously watch and then comment, X told me to subscribe. If you do that, I will make an appointment with you to meet and make a specific WWE style entry video in your car for you, which I will play before every single race this season. There's the challenge. So if you're listening, that's what's on offer for you. That's a very good point. It won't be cheating if you ask them. To be fair, it's quite quiet at Black Flag on a Friday evening. I know James is on because James is getting drunk with the BCGT lot, which he normally does on a Friday, which we sometimes do as well. Who else have we got? Jay's on. Jay's practicing for next week's Porsche Cup. He's about. I'm sure at some stage he might jump on and say hello. We might see Paul at some point this evening. Depends whether his wife is talking to him or not. Generally, you can tell if his wife's talking to him because he's not here. Yeah, that's it really. So there's a challenge laid down. So the 4 of you that are out there, if you want a WWE style entry video to be played at the beginning of every single race this season that you compete in, I'm not going to play if you're not here, that would be ridiculous. Then you get 5 people to subscribe, and then to come on to the live chat and to write, X told me to subscribe to your channel. I have subscribed. Obviously, I will check. So if they just subscribe, put a note in and then unsubscribe, I will fucking know. I'm not stupid. But yeah, there we go. I did actually go to check to see if we had any. What was the consecutive live viewers? Let me do that now while we're waiting for people to come back from wee-wees. Oh, there we are actually starting. I'll do it later because we're starting now. Right, Boomshanker. Well, to be fair, I did lose. I'm quite prepared to make that video for you, mate. If you want it done, happy to do it for you, mate. I've got new video editing software today. Actually, I want to try it. That may or may not have been paid for by our new sponsor. Right, so here we go. We are back, and because we're about to start.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Wow, is it very nice? Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right, anyway, moving on. Just waiting for players. I don't know why the loading in between is just so long. It doesn't make any sense. You know, if the graphics were like, don't get me wrong, graphics are decent, but if the graphics were like VR quality super duper duper, I could understand it, but they're really not. I mean, the cars are pretty much the same shape. Just got to paint them different colours, haven't they? So, reverse grid time. So will we? So basically, Fingers gets another crack at finishing in the top three, essentially. How's he get on this time? Right, so here we go. Formation lap ensues. We've got more drivers. Who's come to join us that we didn't have before? So, Toys will lead us out. Toys was here before, obviously. Baguette will join on the front row. Fingers, row 2 with Brad Dunks. Dunners will be on row 3 with Scuba. Ryan on row 4 with Harley. Forza, who came in good second, will be on row 5, just ahead of Bab. Sir Jake, ahead of the new drivers that have arrived. The Bray Train, of course, from Australia. Connor, who immediately turned the car the wrong way around on the grid. Who is that? Smashing shit all over the place. That was Bray Train, putting pieces of car all over the place. And Kells has arrived. Welcome back, Kells. So basically the entire field is sandwiched between two 07 drivers. Kells and Toys. Kells Toys. Kells not driving for McLaren this season, so don't expect her to be, I say her, him, it, them. I probably should just use non-specific pronouns. I can see that at some point I'm going to get myself into trouble by using him and her. I've noticed a lot, obviously with watching my boy and his sort of foray into the world of professional esports, is that a lot of the shoutcasters, as they call them, how many comments do I need? Jay, I need 50. Yeah, it needs to get to 50. I need 50 and 10 consecutive live viewers. I think I've reached 10 actually. I haven't checked the analytics, but I think I've reached 10. I bet I need 50 comments for my TG point. Yeah, as I was saying, with watching the world of esports and or what they call shoutcasters, that's the wrong red girls.
You can't park that there, mate.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of them display pronouns, and most of the time it's them or they. And I do realise that at some point I'm going to get myself into trouble if I don't behave. Listen, if you have a specific pronoun and I mispronoun you, it's not personal. Fucking tell me, and then I will ensure that I'll try. Otherwise, you know, it is what it is. Right, there we go. So that's 4 lights, that's 5 lights. They will go out and we will be away. And thusly we are. Toys from Fingers. Fingers got a great start this time. No bad start there. Bab though. Bab is out of the race straight away. That brings about our first safety car of the season. That is, I think it's going to be a virtual. It's lap 1. It usually is on lap 1. Around 27, 28, something like that. I don't know what happened, Bab. What happened? You can talk us through it, but what I can tell you is that Scuba has no nose. I'm sure that in real life Scuba has a nose, but not on the front of the car. They don't. Certainly no front wing anyway. They've got a nose, just no front wing attached to it. So Bab is out of this race, and this is a full safety car. Little excessive maybe. Great start. So Toys leads away from Fingers. Fingers with a good exit from the line, and that moves him up to second. Baguette is down in third. Harley in fourth. Dunners in fifth. Ryan in sixth. Forza Ferrario is in seventh. Brad Dunks in 8th. Sir Jake is in 9th place. Connor in 10th. Bray Train in 11th. Kells in 12th. Scuba, who has no nose. How does he smell? Bloody awful. In 13th. That joke. And, of course, Bab is DNF. And it looks to me that it might be that Scuba entered Bab from behind quite roughly, because there is no nose on Scuba. Scuba pulls into the pits to put a new front wing on, and we have no Bab. Bab is no more. He is an ex-Bab. Currently we have a safety car out. That safety car will lead them round, while the marshals go out with a snow shovel to scrape up what is left of Bab off of the racetrack. Similar to what they would do with a Bab outside the pub on a Sunday morning, because it's been spilled by some drunk people. That's not what happened here. I'm sure that Scuba wasn't drunk when they did that. So, what have we had this season so far? We've had our first race. We've had our first debut win. We've had our first safety car. We've had our first entire grid, bar one of penalties. And I still insist that there should be a bonus point if you are the only person that finishes a race with everybody else on penalties. Just a thought. I could have put that in suggestions before the season started, but I just came up with it. You know, I don't plan these things, man. This shit just happens in my mind, in my brain. Right, so Toys leads from Fingers. Much better start from Fingers this time. Fingers started on pole in the first race, in the 25% 13 lapper, but jump start meant penalty, and it meant that they never really got back into the race. You've got an Austria set up on. That'll be interesting, because last time I checked, this wasn't Austria, my friend. I don't know. Well, look, it could be worse. You've got an Austria set up on your car, but you could have a wet setup on your car. That would be infinitely worse than having an Austria set up on your car, you could argue. And to be fair, yeah, there's some straight bits. Not many. Not as many as not clearly not Austria straight bits, but there's some straight bits. You want more funny comments and more funny screen comments? What do you want? Do you want to see the baby picture of Baguette? Her mum sent that. That's actually what she looks like. Well, not now. She's bigger now. Wreckfest. Yes. Did Scuba not tell you that this season Scuba will be mostly playing Wreckfest? So Scuba did what? Scuba did what did Scuba do? I've lost it. I'll find it in a minute. Hang on. I haven't got it. I haven't got what Scuba did, but I'll tell you what, I've got this for you though. That's just for you, Bab. That's actually your car. That's what your car looked like before you crawled out of it into the pits to watch from the sidelines. So the chances of you topping the leaderboard.
What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to fucking acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it all you like. It's not going to fucking happen, my friend. It's not going to fucking happen. Did you pull this face when Scuba crashed into you?
My dog stepped on a bee.
Maybe you did. Right, so we're under our first safety car of the season. This is Silverstone. You were indeed upside down.
I crashed. You crashed? How are you coming fast?
How are you coming fast, indeed?
How dare you? How dare you?
Roses, how the hell are you, my friend? Good to see you all. Very good to see you all. No, you couldn't. But I bet you, how many times did you shout that after Scuba did it?
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams.
Yeah, your dreams of winning at 2 on the bounce, gone, my friend. You're just going to have to watch, and they're going to show you how it's really done. Right, safety car in this lap. We will see from, I don't know which way that McLaren of Kells was going, but it wasn't the right way. Let's go on board with Baguette. What? No, let's not. Oh, what's happened to Toys? What's happened to Toys? Safety car goes in, and it's all gone horribly wrong for Toys. Oh, dearie, 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 dearie me. There's Toys. Toys reappears. Toys was playing hide and seek, and it turns out that no one was actually looking for them. They've all just fucked off up the road. So, because Fingers is in the lead of this race. We are finally underway here at Silverstone. This is EuroTripz F1 on a Friday evening, Season 3, round number 1 from Silverstone, live from the Black Flag Racing Studios here in sunny Surrey. It's not sunny, it's dark because it's fucking night time. But Fingers leads the way. 1.6 seconds clear already is Fingers. So Fingers clearly putting his finger out and getting on with it. Tyres. What have we got for tyres? I could just look at each individual car and find out, but I can't be bothered. So Dunner's the only driver opting to start on the three lap soft tyres, on the soft compound tyres. Fingers leads away 1.8 seconds from Baguette, and they are under significant pressure from Harley in the Aston Martin. Can Harley find a way through? Can Harley give any kind of pressure to the back of Baguette? And at the moment it looks like Baguette is holding on. Harley was very quick in the Aston Martin in the earlier race. Can they put a similar kind of pace in? There, of course, this is realistic performance. The Aston Martin is probably on balance a slightly better car than the Alfa Romeo, but it depends on how Harley can get that car performing. At the moment, though, Baguette doing everything in her power to keep the sex pest at bay. He's not really a sex pest. If the police are listening, then he's not really a sex pest. There's Ryan just in behind, just half a second back in the Alpine, and he's got Forza Ferrari, who turned up to Great Britain with an Austrian setup on the car. Let's face it, he's gone to the Urban Pirate School of getting things horribly fucking wrong, because I turned up to a race at Australia with an entire overlay for Austria all over it. So let's face it, we can both make those mistakes. Dunners is in the Haas, he's running in 6th, is the only driver on the soft compound tyres. They've got to work, and the only way you make them work is you've got to get some pace out of them early on. Make some inroads into the drivers ahead. Push your way through that order. Connor, 8 seconds worth of penalties. That's some return for Connor in the AlphaTauri. Oh dear, Baguette is out of this race. Is this another safety car? Where is Baguette? Baguette is begone. Baguette is in big pits with big broken car. So it's bye-bye to...
You can't park that there, mate.
Very, very sad news. Baguette is out of this race. So they will be sitting next to the broken carcass of Bab, who was upside down after Scuba murdered him on lap 1 straight from the start. No safety car this time though. Fingers leads by 3 seconds. Now, in a list of things I thought I'd never say in a season, that's one of them. And I say some pretty random shit. It's got to be said, I never thought Daryl would ever win anything. And I've met the guy, trust me, he's a loser. No, Daryl, I'm only joking, man. I'm really sorry. He's not a loser. He's actually a very nice guy. But I know he can take this shit. And he'll give as good as he gets, of course. There is Harley running in 2nd. Under some pressure now from Ryan. Ryan makes that move. Up into 2nd place goes Ryan. Great overtake in that Alpinus. And Harley coming back at him, though. How quickly can he get that place back, if at all? Can he get that place back? Definitely. And he touches. They touch. And that was not the nice kind of touching either. That's not the kind of touch that makes you feel fuzzy. It's the touch that makes you feel a little bit sordid and want to show the judge where you were touched. So, has to back off. Ryan now solidly in second ahead of Forza Ferrari, who was moaning they had the wrong setup of the car, but clearly it hasn't really affected them that badly because he's still running in the top 3. Everybody bar Dunner's currently on soft tyres as Forza makes the move past the Alpine. Little switcheroo for Ryan. Can he make it stick? Well, he's round the outside like the 2 trailer park girls that I'm going to be calling later from a little hovel in Streatham that I know. But it doesn't stick. Forza does hold on in second. But it's side by side racing. A little bit squirrely in the Alpine. That allows Harley now to get a run. Can Harley make a move on Ryan up into third? Great racing from these 2 Aston Martin drivers. It is Forza Ferrari Stroll and Fernando Harley. Although they're not driving in the new Aston Martin. Some DRS there for Harley. Can't use it to get past Ryan because Ryan's got some himself. Such close racing between them. That battle is going to rage on. Ryan, of course, carrying a 3-second penalty. So I won't want to be losing track positions. If anything, we'll want to be pushing on further. And almost, that is so close. You can see that you could have put a piece of paper between them then and it would have held. They were so close going through the final corner. But just the gap just opening up enough for Ryan to have the chance to breathe, which would be quite nice for me as well. While they're battling, there is Connor closing up on that pack. He has got 8 seconds worth of penalties. That's what Connor does. He basically rocks up, racks up a fuck ton of penalties, finishes somewhere in the top half, then the penalties drop him down to the bottom half, and then he goes home, and then basically he just does the same shit over and over again. It's just, it's his thing. Fingers leads the way. Fingers leads the way by 5.2 seconds. Somebody punch me in my jaw. I've reached an alternative universe. Sir Jake, much better performance this time from Sir Jake. If you count the fact that Sir Jake didn't race much last time because crashed and they didn't complete the race. They are running in 6th place, but with drivers ahead serving penalties, could potentially get 2 places without even making an overtake. There's Dunners in the Haas, still on those soft compound tyres, still running in 7th, not making any inroads into Jake ahead, and actually has Brad Biscuit Dunks just behind, trying to make some moves, and again, so into the pits Dunners goes to get rid of those soft compound tyres. Fingers with the fastest lap of the race. Michael, do you know what? People are going to start to think I'm a liar because I'm saying things like Fingers the fastest lap of the race. Fingers is 6.3 seconds clear. OJ was innocent. What other shit can I make up? What? While I'm saying stuff like this that is absolutely unbelievable, what else could I say? Osama bin Laden's still alive. He's an Elvis impersonator operating out of Aberdeen. So Fingers leads the way. He does actually lead the way. And well done to him. He is 6.7 seconds clear of Forza Ferrari, who is racing today at Silverstone in an Austrian setup. But doing a very, very good job of it. Behind him is Ryan. Ryan weathered that storm from the pressure of Harley behind. Has now managed to settle in. 3/10 behind Forza. Half a second ahead of Harley and holding firm in that top 3. Pit window for the medium compound tyres open in a few laps time. Connor running in 5th. 8 seconds worth of penalties, which will drop him somewhere near Kells. Kells Bells. And what is it about these two 07 drivers, Kells and Toys? Bearing in mind that Toys started at the front and Kells started at the back. They just seem to gravitate to each other in every race. No, I haven't. I haven't at all, actually, Jay. I've had quite a lot of coffee, though. Yeah, so Kells and Toys always seem to gravitate to each other and end up in the same position on the racetrack. And there is another championship contender out of this race. And we have more safety cars. So, Harley into the DNF list. And we have another safety car to boot. So, that job that Fingers has done to build himself, I mean, at that point it was a 9-second lead. He'll be really disappointed actually that that's now going to be dissipated by this safety car. Remember, we did 13 laps in race number 1 and not one safety car. We are 10 laps in and we have our second safety car of the evening. That to me, I thought Kells was about to retire then. I reckon what actually happened was they had an itchy bum and they just had to adjust themselves in the chair and have a little scratch. But obviously couldn't accelerate and scratch at the same time. So opted to slow down. So, time for a full rundown then, shall we? Fingers leads from Forza Ferrari in the Aston Martin. It is Ryan in the Alpine holding on in third with Connor, who now moves up to fourth. Now Harley is a DNF. Oh, and of course, this is for you, Harley. And we're going to start to see a few jumping into the pits. Connor being one of them, Forza ahead being another. Was it Forza? Or was that? It must be. Sir Jake in the pits. Scuba in the pits. Brad's Dunks in the pits. Bray Train in the pits. Kells in the pits. Toys in the pits. Dunners has got the shits. He's 21 seconds back. 21 seconds back. In 11th place as it stands. So Ryan stays out. He's got a 3-second penalty. Fingers stays out or comes out of the pits. 17 seconds back. He's gone for the hard compound tyres. Now they can run to the end of this race. They can. How grippy are they to the end of the race? That's the problem. Ryan stays out. He's on the medium compounds. Is he holding on for another potential safety car later in the hope that he can stay on the slightly grippier tyres while those around him change out for something altogether less grippy? Forza comes out on the hards, of course, as does Sir Jake of Alpha. Forsooth. Connor. We've got 2 Scottish drivers out there today. Surprised that no one has been headbutted. Maybe that's why Harley be getting Babs were out there, because they've all just been nutted by the Scottish drivers. And, yeah, cultural appropriation. Scuba in the Red Bull, running in 6th. He's on those medium compound tyres. Absolutely melted into the back of Bab. Lap 1, turn 1. It's to rain. You said it's to rain. So you think, does that mean it's going to rain here? Or you've got the wet weather Austria set up? No, you're right. I do DNF every race too. No, you're right, Harley. I absolutely do. But then I don't really race, mate. And I can say what I fucking like. No, you're right. I do DNF pretty much every race. On this I do anyway. Because I'm absolutely rubbish. But, you know, those who can do, those who can't teach, those who can't teach talk shit about you mugs on YouTube. Who stopped, who hasn't? Good question, Andy. Good frickin' question. Let's get it right. There we go. Everyone but Ryan has been into the pits. Could this be a problem for him at the end? But it's only for one section of the weatherboard. So it could, well, to be fair then, how many safety cars we get is paramount, because if it's saying it's going to rain at the end, and I won't have another dig at the developers of this game about the fact that I'm a fucking commentator and I don't have access to weather data. Anyway, moving on. If it says it's going to be rain at the end, surely the longer a safety car is out, and then the longer another safety car comes out, the more likely it is to be wetter for longer at the end, right? we'll see. We will see what we will see. It could certainly mix things up a little bit, if that's the case. So, if Ryan's looking at that and thinking, look, it's going to rain towards the end, I can hang on to these tyres as long as possible. He's got some time to hang on to them, to be fair, because we're only on lap 12 of 26. There are still 14 laps to go in this race. And yes, we are under safety car, and yes, he's had time to look after those tyres for a couple of safety car periods. But at some point, you've got to make a judgment call, whether you know it's going to rain or not. And it's going to be about how much time you're prepared to lose on ever decreasingly grippy tyres. When you don't have a significant lead, and you've got some fast guys behind you. Well, you've got some fast guys behind the guy behind you. Sorry, Darryl. Right, anyway, safety car in this lap. Here we go. There goes the Aston Martin safety car. Disappears off into the pits. Let's go on board with... oh, look, why are so many going in? Is it raining already then? Right, so Ryan stays out and some more people go into the pits. Fingers and Forza go into the pits. Did they, did he think because he was driving an Aston Martin he should go, oh no, wing damage for Forza, so he crashed. What happened to Forza? What happened to Forza? Crashed. That is a crying shame. Right, so Ryan leads from Sir Jake. Connor running in third place. Scuba in fourth. Brad Dunks in fifth. Bro Train in sixth. Dunners in seventh. Kells and Toys again on the same part of the racetrack. I don't get it. They're like magnets, them two. Forza in 10th. Fingers in 11th. They both had to pit right at the end of that lap of when the safety car went in to get themselves fresh wings for whatever reason. Maybe they had it coming together. So I reckon there should be a short fight in the car park to sort that shit out if they can.
I crashed. You crashed! How are you coming fast?
Anyway, Ryan leads by 1.8 seconds. He's still on the faster, grippier, softer, medium compound tyres. Thank you very much for your vote of confidence, Bilal. But I would be an absolutely shit stand-up comedian because I would basically I'd just shout bollocks at random strangers. That doth not a comedian make. Plus, Comedy Central is an American show, and Americans have no concept of humour. We have another retirement from this race, and that is Dunners. Dunners is out of this race. Has he crashed? Let's find out. Is there a broken Dunners? It looks like we do have a broken Dunners. It should be on the right hand side as we go. As we come through where there'd be a broken Dunners, there's no longer a broken Dunners. But no safety car. We do carry on racing. We're down to just 10. Bab gone. Lap 1, turn 1 pretty much. Baguette got a couple of laps later. Then we lost Harley. 2 of those brought about safety car periods. Dunners gone. We're down to 10 drivers, but no safety car this time. Ryan leads by 1.6 seconds. And tyres look like this. We've got Ryan running on 13 lap old medium tyres. There's going to come a point shortly over the next few laps, this being it, when he comes in and gets rid of those old tyres. As I finally bites the bullet, in he goes. And Sir Jake of Racy Island takes the lead of this race just as DRS is enabled. So, just to rub some salt in the wounds for Ryan. The cars around him have a bit of DRS as well, so they can go even faster to get away from him. So Sir Jake now leads this race. He's on the hard compound tyres. He's ahead of Connor, running in second. Good performance thus far from Connor. Can't really say shit about his performance today because he's doing all right. He's up into second. Scuba on the medium compound tyres, 4 laps old are they. Is running in third. I'm sure that will make Bab very, very happy to see that the driver that's put him out of the race is currently running in the top 3. And I'm sure Bab will be wishing them well and hoping that they stay there and earn lots and lots and lots and lots of points. Thank you very much, Bilal. You can. I'll send you that money later. Bray Train running in fourth place, 16.7 seconds back. You wouldn't think we'd only had a safety car a couple of laps ago for that gap to be so big already. Connor moves up into the lead. Scuba moves up to second. So Jake down to third. Toys and Kells still holding hands and running together. I've got a feeling that these two are Siamese twins. That's why they're both 07, because their real name is they're the 07 twins. Talking of 07, did you hear that we lost a member of S Club 7 today? And it's concerning because he's fucking younger than me and he's already gone. And he to be fair, he probably did a lot of drugs back then. As Fingers will tell you, I never touched the stuff. Talking of Fingers, there he is running in 7th behind the 07 Siamese twins. 10.1 seconds back in 7th place. So it doesn't matter how many times he is gifted a front 3 start, he cannot finish there. But look, there's still 10 laps remaining. Anything can happen. Ryan running in 8th place on those hard compound tyres. He was in the lead for some time, but just couldn't hold on. And we have a problem. And that problem is what? Why do we have a yellow flag? Kells has made a mistake and fucked it up at some point.
You can't park that there, mate.
No, you can't. Get on with it. Toys disappears. Fingers separates the two. And it's not the first time that Kells and Toys have been separated by some fingers. Apparently. Forza going very... Why is Forza going quite so slowly there? Well, I mean, Forza was going great guns. And again, what is that a technical issue? Oh, okay. Oh dear, something's going very horribly wrong for Forza. So I spotted it and then I saw his note. So this is very, very strange. What is causing this problem? Can he fix it? Is it fixed? Whatever's happening, he's now in last place, which is not ideal. That's the understatement way of putting it. Right, there is definitely some sort of issue there, because the game keeps freezing him, and you can see there that it's not and that to me is not an equipment issue either, because, or maybe it is. You're on pad Forza, aren't you? You're not on a wheel. Or are you back on your wheel? Because I know you had a... What do you want me to do? I'm not fucking technical services. What do you want me to do? Fucking jump on the back of my donkey and fucking ride to your house and fix it? I don't know what to do, my friend. I don't know. You know, I don't know what the problem is. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? No, that is fucking weird. Is that the game then, or is that your controller? Is that the game doing that? Because that to me looks like there's an input problem. Oh dear, okay. That was really fucking weird, man. That was really, really weird. That was Forza flying. Wish I knew what caused that, my friend, but that was really, really odd. Okay, so Forza's problems aside, which are substantial. I don't know why I'm laughing, because Forza's probably clearly pissed off. I don't mean to laugh, but it is a little bit funny. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Okay, Scuba leads the way, half second up from Connor, and Scuba currently on those medium compound tyres. We'll have to run the other compound at some stage. I don't actually know if Scuba started on the hards. Possibly they did. They had to pit straight away because they smashed into the back of Babs. So had to replace their front wing. Nobody else seems to be having this problem at the moment, but I will keep an eye on it. Sir Jake of Alpha in that top 3 is 1 second back from Connor, 14 seconds clear of Toys. Toys has started to pull away from their Siamese twin in that Ferrari and just show a little bit of pace there in 4th. And we have another scenario where one driver doesn't have a penalty, and that is the Bray Train. And there is the Bray Train. I don't know why I said the. It's just Bray Train. But in 5th position, 1.9 behind Toys. 2 seconds ahead of Fingers. 9 seconds ahead of Fingers. 2 seconds behind Toys. Forza getting a penalty, which is probably a little bit unfair because Forza's having significant problems back there. Shall we go and have a look at what's going on with Forza now? Forza's currently in the car park. Oh no, there is Forza. 1 minute 16 seconds back. The game clearly causing some significant problems to Forza. It looks almost, when you're on board, when it happens, it looks almost like there's a loss of input. But then you see that, and then you know that actually this is clearly significantly more. And as we have the footage here, I'm going to say now that he should get points for finishing in ahead. So basically, if we get any DNFs for crashing and stuff, he should get points for wherever he would have finished, because that is completely out of his control. It was really funny for me to laugh at, and I don't mean to laugh at you, Nathan, but it was fucking funny for me. But then I find the most random shit funny. But yes, points please for Forza once the race is done, because that was completely out of his control. Nothing he could have done about that. Right, there's your race leader, Scuba, and he's diving up into the lead of this race and holding it 1.3 seconds clear. Connor is holding on in 2nd, and with losing Forza, we have just one Scott left, and he's crying freedom, or something similar, while he's chasing down Scuba in 1st. Bray Train with a 3-second penalty, so no one is going to finish this race without a penalty. Sir Jake in 3rd still, that top 3 holding firm as it is, lap 20 of 26. 13.5 seconds back, we've got the best of the rest, and that's the Ferrari of Toys. 2.8 seconds back to Bray Train. That's a couple of Australians side by side right there. Fingers is 7.4 back in the Red Bull. Now, clearly, Scuba is showing the kind of pace you should be getting out of a Red Bull, and not what Fingers is demonstrating back there in 6th. 7th is Ryan, 4.3 seconds back. He's on the hard compound tyres, running to the end, of course. There is the other 07 driver in the McLaren. That's Kells, running in 8th. 24 seconds back from Ryan. 18 seconds ahead of Brad Teabag Dunks. That's his real name. It's on his birth certificate and everything. He's 18.1 seconds back in the Mercedes-Benz. 6-lap old tyres. So we are 21 laps into this 26-lap race. If you didn't know already, this is EuroTripz Formula 1 round number 1. We are at the home of all motorsport, which is Silverstone. Great British Grand Prix. Dun, 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 dun. I don't even think that's the right song, but I'm done here. I think that's the French national anthem I just did. Fucking idiot. God save the king. There we go. Yeah, so this is Black Flag Racing TV. It's Friday night for EuroTripz, of course. We started race number 1 with just 11 of our 20 runners this season. A few more showed up when they finally bothered to get involved in the feature race. And we've had some new drivers this evening. So, new drivers. Bab, great race. First race out is, did Bab have? Well, I don't know why I'm talking like Yoda. Bab did have a great race out in the first 13 that race and won that. Didn't go so well race number 2. Scuba was not happy with that performance and decided that the best place for Bab was back in the pits and smashed the shit out of Bab's car, and Bab was a DNF for this race number 2 on lap 1. Sir Jake performing very well in this feature race, was out of race number 1, but currently in the top 3 here for race number 2. Brad Dunks finished race number 1, will finish race number 2 as well, so good points for Brad Dunks in his debut. It's kind of like a soft debut for Baguette. Baguette did join at the end of season number 2, but as it's the start of her first full season for Baguette, will pretend that she's just joined us and that we've never met her before. She had a good race number 1. Race number 2 didn't go quite so well. Also a DNF. Full rundown for the for the race so far. So Scuba is 2.7 seconds clear now in the lead of this race in the Oracle Red Bull racing car. That's ahead of Connor, who joined us for race number 2, is running on the hard compound tyres in the AlphaTauri. This, of course, is realistic F1, so the cars perform as they do in, well, not this season, but last season F1. So Jake in the Alfa Romeo getting a really, really good performance out of that Alfa in 3rd. Toys in the Ferrari. Doing what a Ferrari does, which is just slightly underperforming based on where they should be. 11.9 seconds back from Sir Jake. Bro Train in the Alpine, a couple of places up from their teammate Ryan. 4.3 seconds behind Toys on the hard compound tyres. Fingers has closed that gap a little bit. It was at 1.7 seconds, currently 5.4. Oh dear, well, and as soon as I said it, it went horribly wrong. And what do we say when that happens?
You can't park that there, mate.
You can't park that there, mate. No, you're right, you can't. Remember when my car did that, my Skoda did that in the snow. That Boxing Day, we took some rock stars to Kent. It's just reminded me of that fateful, that Boxing Day where I told my missus I would only be a couple of hours. We're just picking a couple of mates up from London to take them to Kent, and we got a guy dressed as our friend Gavin dressed as Axl Rose, and his girlfriend dressed as Lady Gaga, fresh from I think they were coming from a gig in Wales, and yeah, pushing a car out of the snow in the wilds of Kent. At some point we were facing that direction, weren't we, Fingers, if I remember rightly? That was many, many years ago. Ryan is running in 7th, and we just lost Kells from this race. Brad Dunks taking an interesting line through that corner. That's not the line you would usually take, but Brad Dunks has decided that they want to see if they can make a new racetrack. So Brad Dunks is basically playing, we're under safety cars, and let's draw us a new racing line. So we could very well finish this race under safety car conditions because we've lost Kells from this race. It's only a virtual safety car, so we might be alright. I don't see Bert Mylander out there anytime soon. Yeah, Forza, very, very unlucky. And if no one heard me before, give that man some fucking points. He should technically finish in, at the very least, he should get points for 9th. Assuming nobody else DNFs in this race, then Forza should get the points for 9th here, because it was out of his control. I know we could argue, oh, well, he would have finished higher. Tough shit, we can't prove that. But we can prove that the game was fucked, and kept slowing him down and spinning him upside down. So give him the points. So, we are back underway racing. Scuba, 2.7 seconds clear. Lap 24 of 26 here, as he heads into Maggots and Beckett's for the 24th time. Connor 2.7 seconds back, not really making inroads. Sir Jake 1.6 back, not really making any inroads either. There is Toys. Toys is 12.8 seconds back from Sir Jake. A lot of work to do if that Ferrari is going to make it into the top 3. So we did a disconnection, a crash, or a lot of work. Yeah, I bet you fucking did, mate. I bet you did. Very, 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 very odd. And to be fair, if we hadn't have caught it on the broadcast, it was weird because I flashed to you to see you going slowly. Then your message popped up. And then you kept doing it. And then it did that kind of weird thing where you kind of flipped up in the air and disappeared. And genuinely, I don't think if there had been 18, 19, 20 drivers out there, we might not have even caught that. So, yeah, weird. Very, very weird. But because we caught it on footage, I'm sure we could argue to Ryan that you get some points, man. Bray Train running in 5th. We've got a lot of Australian drivers left out. Well, I say lots. Is that 2 or 3 left out there? Bray Train running 2.3 seconds back in the Alpine. Just behind another Australian in Toys or New Zealander. One of them, they're over in that part of the world anyway. They're basically upside down right now. Fingers 14.2 seconds back in the Red Bull. Not getting that Red Bull swinging like Scuba is out in the lead. Ryan, though, has gone for some fastest lap points. Got to put some soft tyres on to the end of this race. Dived into the pits when there was the crash, the Kells crash, the famous Kells crash of 23. And Ryan now on those soft compound tyres. Big ask to gain an extra position, but is definitely trying to secure some fastest lap points on the board. And Brad Dunks finishing will finish in 8th place, 33.1 seconds back. Last lap of the race, and we are at Silverstone. This is the last time we'll see them racing here this season. We've got a few races left to go. This is only race number 1, but Scuba in the Oracle Red Bull racing car is leading the way, and once they took the lead, they never really looked like losing that position. The gap's come down a little bit. Connor is closing a touch, really kind of pushing here, but the amount of work that they're going to have to do to catch, it's going to be far too much, I think. Unless, of course, Scuba makes a mistake, and let me not try and commentate or curse them at all. But heading firmly into Sector 2 towards Maggots and Beckett's, they go, and about to lap Brad Dunks in last place, who will ghost out. And that really annoys me, actually, the ghosting here. I don't think the cars being lapped should be ghosted. I think they should have to lap properly. It's what fucking racing is all about, isn't it? Oh, well, who knows? Who cares? But no, good result for Scuba. Really good result for Scuba in that Red Bull. 1.2 seconds now. I mean, Connor is closing fast, to be fair. It's not long to go, but yeah, Connor has closed that gap significantly this lap. So Scuba rounds the final turn, will cross the line and take the win here in the feature race. So it's Scuba from Connor, from Sir Jake, from Toys. There, of course, is your winner, though. Scuba Dooba Doo. Scuba Dooba Doo. It's enough of all that shit. You don't deserve more than that. It wasn't all your work, was it? No, I'm only joking. No, well done. Scuba wins this race from Connor. In the end, it was 3.9 seconds. Toys in 3rd. Bray Train, 1.8 seconds back in 4th place. Sir Jake in 5th. 6th was Fingers. Ryan comes home in 7th. And I think takes the fastest lap of the race on those soft compound tyres. And Brad Dunks home in 8th position. Kells, Dunners, Harley, Baguette, Bab and Forza. Also, Bab, not including Forza, DNF. Disqualification for Forza, but that disqualification shouldn't count because it was less of a disqualification and more of lazy fucking coding by an idiot. Bray Train, driver of the day. I'm happy to concede that's not a bad shout. But there we have it. Done and dusted. Congratulations to the new drivers. Good performances from them all round, I think. But the accolades go 2 ways. The accolades go, of course, to Bilal, a.k.a. Bab, for win in the first race. Commiserations, of course, for race number 2. But for the feature race, the plaudits all go to Scuba. And I was worried that it wasn't going to load up. But there is Scuba, winner of the first race here in season number 3. Some good juicy points there for Scuba. And very different grid than race number 1. Race number 1 had a Haas and 2 Aston Martins. Here we've got Red Bull, we've got a Ferrari, and we've got an Alpha Tauri. So yeah, great performance all around there. So what's next? I hear you cry. There's some more races. Not today, of course. We've got a full season of stuff coming up. I can't remember what all the races are. I could look it up, but that would involve me actually caring enough. No, I'm only joking. Of course I care. I just don't want to look it up. I can't bother. Right, there we go. So let's have the full official rundown, shall we? 20 seconds to do so. Scuba and Red Bull from Connor in the Alpha Tauri. Toys in the Ferrari rounds out that top 3. Brave Train from Australia ahead of Sir Jake of United States of America. Yeah, fuck yeah. Fingers, Ryan and Brad Dunks round out the top 8 with Kells, Dunners, Harley, Baguette and Bab. DNF, Forza Ferrario with a disqualification down to some really bad game mechanic issues, which I'm sure will afford him some points. There we go. We're done. That's race number 1 out of the way. 11 more to go. I can't fucking wait. It's going to be awesome. Thank you very much for hanging around with me and joining me for this, the first race of season 3 with EuroTripz F1. Have a wonderful chocolate egg weekend. Eat loads of chocolates. Be very sick. But most importantly, have fun. Back tomorrow. It's not Smoking Pirelli's Tuesday F1. I didn't change that. I forgot to do that. We are with tomorrow with Staying Power Endurance Series. Round number 5 in the GR2. No, it's not. It's round number 6 in the GR1 at Fuji. I should have amended that, but I didn't. Anyway, moving swiftly on. I've been Aaron Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with EuroTripz F1. It's been emotional.